Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host. Today we're filming out at the R. Schaefer Herd campgrounds here on the beautiful West Point Lake. I have two exciting interviews coming up, so make sure that you stay tuned for them in just a moment. Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am sitting down now here at the beautiful Schaefer R. Herd Park with senior planner Lee Threadgill from the City of LaGrange. Lee, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Alton.
Well, it's a beautiful day out here to be with the dam in our backdrop here, and it's a beautiful morning here, and we want to talk about some things that are taking place in and around the City of LaGrange. And I know that you're the lady that's up there with a lot of things going on, and we want to talk particularly about one event that everybody can get involved in. But before we get started, Lee, tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Well, Alton, I've been with the city now for about 2 years, a little over 2 years, in the position of planner, which has been awesome, and I've been able to do a large variety of things. Every time you come to a city, the challenges there are different. And in the previous cities where I've worked, which were Berkeley Lake, which is a small city in Gwinnett County, Georgia, and then Wilmington, North Carolina, every place has its own context and issues and growth strategies. And so it's always fun to see what each place is like. And I love LaGrange. I've loved being a resident, and I've loved working for the city where I live. So it's been fabulous. And because of some of the issues here that are different than maybe other places where I've lived, I've been able to really expand on my knowledge and get involved in some new and exciting things. And one of the things that I've been doing that's kind of different is related to parks and parks development. So good. I've been really enjoying that.
Well, very good. Talking about parks, we had neighborhood parks back when I was growing up here in the City of LaGrange. You had the baseball diamond with the concession stands, and in some cases it may have had some play equipment there as well. But over the course of times when the parks and everything was kind of reorganized, all that was moved to a centralized location, and so the other parks have kind of fallen to disarray and not utilized as much as they once were when I was coming up. But let me ask you a question. You say you moved from here, moved here from Atlanta. What is some of the things that drew you to the LaGrange, or some of the things that you really like about LaGrange?
Well, I think that immediately you realize how much nicer it is to be in a smaller community, with certainly the number one thing being less traffic. I think quality of life improves instantly.
So we don't have a traffic problem, is what you're saying?
Others might dispute that.
That's right.
It's all about perspective.
That's right.
But coming from a major metropolitan area
That's right.
to the City of LaGrange, it is certainly a welcome change in the pace of things, and being able to get around and not worry about it, not complain your whole day around rush hour is really nice. So that's one of the things that I have enjoyed since being here. The community, we were brought here by my husband's job, which is the church, the Louis Presbyterian Church, and we have just enjoyed the friendliness of the citizens and the people here. There's a real sense of community in a smaller city where you feel like everybody's kind of in it together. We are all working for the betterment of either our homes from where we were born and raised, or our homes where we live now. This is my community that I really want to do everything I can to make it the best place that it can be.
Absolutely, make a difference.
Right.
And as we look at how things are developing in and around LaGrange, we have a number of developments that were platted that, in some cases, some of them are slow in getting started or getting moved along, and some that's just kind of right now is pretty much gone dormant. But we're hoping that that energy and the vibrancy will come back, and we can kind of get those developments back online. But you were talking about one particular project that you're working on now that I think that everybody can get involved with, and that is bringing online a park that will have a number of components built into it. Talk a little bit about that for us, Lee.
Well, we've had an opportunity to look at Granger Park, not only the existing park space that everybody knows and loves, but also some additional land that is adjacent to the park. It's about a 14-acre tract that runs just south of the baseball fields to Harrelson Street. Okay. And the city has been working for some time now with a landscape architect on thinking through the long-term plans for the park space, just the different elements, the different programming that will take place there. We've obviously got the athletic component that's been there for a long time and serves also as the LaGrange High Athletic Complex. We've got an existing playground that's loved. We've got basketball courts that are highly used. But this new area is more of a passive space. It's very scenic, very natural. There's a stream that runs through the property. It's more of a linear space, and it lends itself a little bit more to trails and being able to commune with nature. Also, we're looking at a dog park in this property, and that is something that we've heard from a lot of citizens is an interest for people. They want to see the City of LaGrange get a dog park. That's one of the fastest growing types of parks in the country statistically.
Okay.
A lot of cities are jumping on that bandwagon because I think for a lot of families, dogs have become kids.
That's right.
And so for those that may not have children, you know, they want to recreate too. They want a place to go and hang out and to talk to other pet owners, and dogs are usually great conversation starters. I always found that when I was out walking my dog.
Okay.
So we are looking at trying to build this dog park in this property, and everybody can get involved because we're in the middle of a national competition called Bark for Your Park.
Okay.
It started yesterday and is a popular vote competition. We're already doing very well. I'm already very excited to see the turnout of votes. I've been watching it as those vote counts start to slowly climb. It's really awesome. So we're just spreading the word any way that we can to convince and persuade people to participate and try to help us win this $100,000 grant for the development of a dog park.
Absolutely. Now, when you talked about the Granger Park area, and I know most people may be familiar somewhat with the location, but just tell us where I guess the southern boundary of that park will begin.
So the southern boundary of the expanded part of Granger Park is West Harrelson Street.
Okay.
And it runs from West Harrelson all the way up to the existing Granger Park property, where basically it will come right up to the baseball fields.
Okay.
The field's right there, the band field. So all of that will be one space. And what is currently the very recreational side, the active kind of athletic type, will continue to be that. And then in this new space, we kind of imagine a more, you know, passive playground, dog park, just kind of, you know, take a stroll down the path to enjoy the scenic beauty. There's a lot of tree canopy there, some nice topography. So we're really excited about the opportunity.
Absolutely. You know, I can remember back, and most of the viewers may remember back when that track of ground was just basically an overgrown kudzu area. And then, you know, some years later it was cleaned out. And I think I heard you say that most people don't realize that it's there and it can be utilized for people now. And as you and I walked it, I think one day we could tell where people and almost vehicles had been driving through there, and you could see where there's been broken bottles and things of that nature. So basically you're going to be enhancing that area to create the dog park and maybe some playground equipment and other things of that nature, correct?
That's right. We're looking at, I think that we'll probably, the plan is so big, the concept plan is quite comprehensive, and it was meant to be that way because we wanted to think about everything long term. But for right now, the trail component and the dog park are sort of the primary focuses. Okay. We have already secured a grant from DNR for $100,000 for the trail construction. We're in an environmental review process, and we're waiting to hear that everything is all clear for us to move forward with construction for the trail. Excitement.
That's right.
And then this dog park grant opportunity came up, and it's sort of, things are kind of taking shape that way. Okay. And I think that those are the elements too that are new. So we're focusing on those newer things that maybe we don't already have in the city that we might want to bring to the citizens to just kind of round out our parks programming and grow it.
Very good. Now we mentioned that everybody can get involved with this, and you mentioned about a website. Tell the viewing audience, how can they get involved and how much you need them involved? Okay?
So everybody has the ability to count for 2 votes a day by voting at petsafe.net/barkforyourpark or on the PetSafe Facebook page. And by doing that every day, I think that we're going to be very competitive in this process. There are a lot of cities that have signed up, and the competition is going to be, you know, strong. So we're going to have to really come out in full force. And it's exciting to think that the citizens of LaGrange might unite behind a public project like a dog park and get involved to win. Right. So just help your city win.
Other people's money. That's right. Other people's money, right?
That's what we're trying to spread that word, and hopefully folks are excited about the opportunity, whether or not they have dogs. Some people just like to watch dogs, or, you know. If you're not a dog owner, it'd be nice to not have to spend the city's resources on developing the dog park. So it's just things like that. There's lots of different ways to look at the at the benefit of the grant.
That's right.
It's got many benefits.
Absolutely. Now, and I think, Lee, as we talked a couple of weeks ago when you were on the show, there's 2 rounds of voting that the citizens really need to get involved with. That's right. and keep it going. Talk about that, the first round and the second round.
So we have the entry voting period, which is the first phase, or phase 1 voting, that started yesterday, and it runs through June 10th. Mm-hmm. And I'm encouraging everybody to vote every day, all of those days. And then the second round, if we are successful in the first round and we make it to the top 15 cities, we'll kick off on June 17th and run through July 22nd. Okay. So we'll be, I might be back on the show, Alton, to promote this again.
Well,
we got to keep the word.
You're always welcome.
That's right. We got to keep everybody's energy and stamina focused on this project.
Okay.
So.
Well, very good. Go ahead and give us those websites one more time, Lee, as we get ready to close out, because we want to make sure that our viewing audience have them so they can go out there and vote.
Sure. It's petsafe.net/bark4yourpark is the website. And then on the Facebook, it's facebook.com/PetSafeBrand. Okay. You should be able to find ways to vote on both of those.
Very good. Now, Lee, if somebody there is listening to the broadcast today and they have some questions about the dog park, can you give them a contact number where they can contact you?
Sure, absolutely. My phone number is 706-883-2088, and I'm happy to talk to anybody. It's a very exciting project.
All right. Well, very good. I know that the energy around City Hall is, everybody get out and go vote. So citizens, we need your votes. We need you to vote often and often. All right. So Lee, thank you very much for being here on the show today.
Thanks, Alton.
All right. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back for more City Week in just a moment. Welcome back to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. We're sitting down at the R. Schaefer Herd Campground, and I'm now being joined by Lieutenant Caleb Harrison. Lieutenant, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a beautiful day out here. I just had Leon talking about some things that everybody can get involved in. And we want to talk a little bit about some things that you and the paramedics with the LaGrange Fire Department can help people to have an enjoyable summer here. But before we get started, Caleb, tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Well, I've been with the city almost 11 years. Next week will be 11 years.
And, congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm over special operations and training for the fire department.
Okay, very good. And you're a native of LaGrange or West Point?
West Point. Grew up in West Point, went to Troop, and then moved to LaGrange.
All right, Troop. So all the Troop graduates heard that, right? He's a graduate of Troop. All right. So Caleb, now, and I know that you guys are kind of like the first responders whenever we have an incident in our city, correct?
Yes, sir.
And a lot of times, citizens see the fire truck and things of that nature go out, and they say, well, why is the fire truck going out before the ambulance? Can you help people to understand why you all go out first of all?
Right, yes, you're right. A lot of people don't understand that we have paramedics and EMTs on every fire truck. So we have all the equipment that the ambulance has minus the stretcher. So everything that the ambulance carries, we carry also. So if we can get there quicker, we can start to provide that intervention if it takes the ambulance a little bit longer, so we don't have to wait long time to get people there.
Absolutely. And a minute, second could mean the difference between someone being severely injured or, either fatality there, I'm sure.
Right.
So, we thank you all for doing that, and hopefully, our citizens will understand a little bit better why you all respond as well.
Right.
As we get ready to enter into the summer, thankfully we haven't had really any hot days yet as we enter into the summer. But let's talk a little bit about water consumption. How people can avoid being overheated during the summer, Caleb?
Okay, well, a lot of things that we see during the summer are heat-related injuries, either heat cramps, heat exhaustion, or heat stroke. And what you should do is, if you know you're going to be out in the yard cutting grass or doing some type of activity out in the yard, try to hydrate the night before, the day before, so that way your body is already hydrated and you're not trying to play catch-up. The body really only can consume 8 to 12 ounces of water and use it towards your hydration at a time. So if you drink a 32-ounce Gatorade or if you drink a 24-ounce water, most of that's just going to be processed through the kidneys and flushed out, and it's not going to go to your actual hydration. Okay. So small sips work very well, 8 to 12 ounces at a time. That's what the body can handle. And if you hydrate before, you stand a lot better chance of being able to last. Okay, very good. And that's so important. I never thought about that. People think more is better, but as you stated, most of it's going to be processed out, and you're going to retain what you really need for hydration, right? Okay. And just common sense things there, Caleb. I know most people, the viewing audience, know not to drink, the high sugary drinks or alcoholic. Talk about the dangers of doing that, being out. Right. When you consume alcohol or the drinks that are high in sugar and high in caffeine, that actually does a disservice to your body rather than helps you out. It is liquid and you are taking it in, but you're not becoming hydrated. Your body's having to process those sugars, process the carbohydrates, and it's working overtime, and what it'll actually do is get your kidneys working, and you'll flush out more than you retain. So we'd like to tell people to alternate water, sports drink, or they can just drink water the entire time. Some people don't really like the taste of water, so we throw a Gatorade or a Powerade or some type of sports drink in there. But yeah, those are the best things. The Cokes, the carbonated beverages, alcoholic beverages really don't help you.
That's right. You know, excuse me. And I know a lot of people, you know, you talk about don't like the taste of water, so they got the little flavor water that they can mix in and stuff like that. So heat exhaustion, basically, you know, taking care of yourself. Now, I see a lot of times people go out and they may put a wet towel on the head, you know, if they're wearing a hat. Is that advisable?
Right, yeah, the body loses a lot of its heat through the head. So if they can wrap their head with a wet towel and keep it cool, then that'll help you from losing body heat.
Okay.
What we suggest is that there are 3 phases. There's heat cramps, heat exhaustion, and actual heat stroke. So if you're out working and you're sweating, that's normal signs and symptoms. When you start getting cramps, it's time to probably back it down a little bit, maybe find some shade or go inside and take a break.
Okay.
And then heat exhaustion, you'll be sweating profusely. Could have dizziness, nausea, vomiting, something like that, and then it can actually progress to an actual stroke. And once you get to the point of heat stroke, you're going to stop sweating, probably be disoriented, and it's an actual emergency that we need to respond to and get you help as quick as possible.
Absolutely. So definitely, you know, couple hours in the sun. If you have to be out there, take a break, sit down, hydrate yourself, and come back at it at a later time. Very good. Yeah, and again, just common sense things. Let's talk about, because we are entering into summer months and people love to do what I like to do in the evening time, go home and grill.
Right.
But grilling can also turn dangerous. Talk a little bit about some safety tips there for us.
Absolutely. You know, we all like to get out and enjoy a good grilled hamburger, hot dog, or steak. But what we want people to make sure they do is be safe around it, whether using propane or charcoal. We want to make sure that we have an activity-free zone around the grill, so we don't have kids playing and running. We like to keep 3 to 5 feet around the grill, just a zone for the person that's cooking.
Okay.
We want to keep it away from the house. Don't grill on your porch under an overhang if you can help it. The International Fire Code suggests that you stay 10 feet away from a structure when you grill, unless you have a sprinkled porch or building. So we'd like to try to keep people grilling away from the house, because you never know what's going to happen. You may have to leave the grill unattended, and it can get tipped over. Or like the wind was blowing at her earlier, you could blow a grill over, and it could go from a nice evening to a catastrophe pretty quick if you leave it unattended.
Oh, absolutely there. And you know, 10 feet, as you were saying, I'm thinking about how far I am from my, you know, my patio when I'm grilling and things of that nature. But you know, all again, just common sense things, and you know, keeping that walk zone free and everything. And that's so, again, it's so important. I think about a lot of times, you know, people may have a, you know, patio with the pool and everything, kids running around. So that's so important they realize that, keep that zone clear.
Right, or even pets running by, you know, a dog or cat could run by and knock the grill over. We just want to keep everybody out of that area and have it just for the cook.
Absolutely. And then they won't knock my meat off the grill.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, let's talk a little bit about summer safety as far as the lake is concerned, because we are here on the beautiful West Point Lake at the Schaefer Herd Campground. People getting ready to go out and go boating. What's some tips that you can give them, Caleb?
Right. Well, as far as boating is concerned, you know, we want to treat it just like an automobile. Don't consume any alcoholic beverages. Don't overload the boat. Make sure everyone's got a properly sized life jacket that's Coast Guard approved. Make sure that everybody's just as responsible and has fun. Don't let unattended children take the boats out or go swimming without you. Want to make sure that there's always somebody there to supervise. Just basically just treat it just like it's your automobile. You know, you don't want to drive too fast. You don't want to go fast through a zone where there's a lot of people playing and recreating. But just you know, be responsible and make sure that you treat it as it is, as a machine that is fun, but can also be very detrimental if used improperly.
Absolutely. You know, as we're getting ready to come up on the Memorial Day weekend, I know that a lot of people will be out boating and, you know, having campfires and various grilling things going on. So I want to talk a little bit about campfires too, because I know that people will be kind of grilling in the contained grills, but some people may want to grill on open campfire. Talk a little bit about how they can protect themselves and others when they're doing that.
Right. Campfire, you know, if you are here at somewhere like our Schaefer Herd or one of these other established campgrounds, they have a fire pit or an area that's assigned for campfire, so you're not around combustible products.
Okay.
If you do want to rough it and go tent camp and do it in the woods, make sure that you get an area completely open and clear of any combustibles. That's grass, pine straw, leaves, and have that campfire away from it. You know, surround it with rocks or something non-combustible start your fire. Once you're through cooking and through using the fire, make sure you put it out. You want to put some water on it, stir it up, put some water on it again to make sure the fire's completely out. Now at the campsite here, it's got the ring around it, so you're don't have to be as cognizant of that. But we want to make sure that we don't start any fires accidentally. Same thing goes with cooking over a campfire. You want to keep children and pets away from the fire because it's easy to trip and fall into a fire. And just a split second could do some major burns.
Absolutely. As I was driving up here in the beautiful R. Schaefer herd, and then we saw the fire pits and various things of that nature. But all again, just common sense things that people can do to protect themselves, and because we appreciate you guys, but we don't want to have to call on you for an emergency situation. So that's why we're here trying to give some safety tips and things of that nature. I want to go back to talking about the fires, just homes too. Fire in the home. What are some of the things that you see, even though we're getting into the summer part of the year? What are some of the things that you see as the major causes of fires in the home, even during the summertime?
Well, cooking fires remains the #1 cause of fires.
Okay.
People cooking, leaving unattended. If someone hollers for you, the phone rings. A lot of people, they won't be thinking too much about the food, leaving food on the stove and falling asleep. So cooking fires all year round is the #1 cause of fires. We just, remind people to be responsible with it. We know that, most fires are accidental, but they can be avoided too. If you're cooking, then try to make sure that you're not doing 3 other things at once. And just really be mindful of what you got going on in the kitchen.
Absolutely. Fire extinguishers. Most homes perhaps may not have one.
Right.
What type of fire extinguisher would you recommend for the homes, Caleb?
If you were to purchase one, I'd recommend a Class ABC because it covers more of the classes. There is a Class K that's a kitchen extinguisher, but ABC will also put out whatever Class K will.
And I guess most people think the fire, water, sometimes it's not the right combination.
Not the case in the kitchen.
That's right, absolutely. So, I've seen, people say they put the cover over it to kind of smother it out, or either put it in the sink. A lot of times they want to turn the faucet on. That's not recommendable. But you say the Class K is the best one for the kitchen fire?
Right, Class K or ABC
will
be good because the Class B fire is open pan liquid fire like in the kitchen.
Okay.
So you don't want to apply water to that because it's got a violent reaction.
Okay, well great. Caleb, we could talk on and talk about various things, safety tips, but I know that most of our viewing audience realize that it's just common sense.
Right.
But sometimes we get in a little bit of a hurry, or we get excited about being out in a beautiful day like today, and we let our guards down. So any last tips that you want to give the viewing audience before we get ready to close out?
Just remember, just try to stay safe in everything you do. We'd much rather see you in passing or at the grocery store than have to come to your house and see you. So just remember to be safe, try to be responsible, keep kids away from open flames, and have a good summer.
Absolutely. Well, Caleb, I want to thank you very much for being on the show today. And again, viewing audience, we want you to enjoy the summer as we are doing here today at the R. Schaefer Herd Campground. We don't want to have to call Caleb out for some of those little incidents. So by all means, let's have a safe summer. Caleb, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're back for more City Week in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining for City Week this week. My guests have been from the City of LaGrange Senior Planner Lee Threadgill, as she talked about the proposal for the upcoming expansion of Granger Park over to the Harrison Street that will include a dog park. She also talked about how you can get involved by going out online and voting each day, at least twice a day. Also, I had on from the LaGrange Fire Department, Lieutenant Caleb Harrison, as he gave us some summer safety tips as it relates to grilling, boating, and other things. So make sure that you take those to heart, ladies and gentlemen, so that we all can have a very safe and happy summer. Thank you for joining me City Week this week, and as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.